friends, welcome or welcome back to the Infinite Library. I'm Kyla and today we're going to be talking about all the books I'm aiming to read in June. It's going to be a little bit of a vague TBR, we'll say. I have books that I would like to get to, but I'm also doing 2 video projects during that month, so it really is just what I'll fit in around it. So June is of course Summerween. This is a yearly summer readathon run by Gabby Reed. I just realised I said this is my TBR for the month of June. It's the TBR for the month of July. Can you tell I am confused by the calendar this year or not? So sorry, books for July. Summerween, a readathon run by Gabby Reed. This is a week-long readathon that happens from around July the 5th to July the 12th. It's a series of 5 prompts, and I'm going to be doing this as my Treasure or Trash episode. I think I may make the stakes a little bit higher by adding in some extra rules, but that is my aim, so I'm going to be reading spooky, creepy, scary books for the episode. So that is one project I'll be doing. I'm also going to be continuing working on another project that I started in the month of June, which there'll be a video for that at some point, but I'm reading quite a few books for that video, so I'm going to be doing that. A lot of it is dependent on when things come in from the library, basically. So those are 2 projects I'm going to be working on then. So in terms of other books I'm going to be reading, of course I always have my book club book. Last month we ended up reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I really enjoyed. It was really good. It wasn't a 5-star for me, but I had a really good time, and I probably will carry on that series at some point. Definitely the audio book is a really good way to go for it. One of the books actually that I've got as an option for this month's book club is a book I'm definitely going to be reading regardless of anything else happening that month, because that is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. It's her new book, the one she described as her toxic lesbian vampire story, and I'm really excited to read it. I've liked most things by V.E. Schwab at this moment, so yeah, really excited to read her new book. It's been getting loads and loads of hype. It is a kind of historical novel in some ways about 3 women across different time periods, and I think they're all vampires, and I don't really know a whole lot else about it other than that, but honestly all I need to know is it's vampires, it's sapphic, and it's V. Schwab, and I'm already sold. So that is one of the options for book club. The other 2 options are sci-fi ones. So the first is All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. This is a gay post-apocalyptic kind of story about 2 boys at the end of the world, basically, as it kind of says. This almost won the poll, I think, last month, so I put it in again just to see if people still want to read it. And then the final books that it could be that I read is Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. I already read this one, actually. I read this back when I did my, I think it was my Goodreads, possibly debut category, and I really enjoyed it. I gave this like almost a 5-star. So I probably won't reread this one, to be honest, but I might like just refresh my memory on some of the characters and stuff for it. So those are the 3 books for book club, and this is the one that got picked that I will be reading in the month of July. So that is it for the book club. On to the other books then, which are books I may or may not read. We'll just kind of see. One I definitely will get to, however, because it's an art, is Gareth Brown's new book, The Society of Unknowable Objects. I think this comes out in August, but I'm like dying to get to it. I'm so excited for this book. Gareth Brown was the author of The Book of Doors, which was a fantasy which came out last year, I think, and it was really well written. It was really well done, really cool world building, and I really loved that the story pushed it so much more than I kind of was expecting it to go. And I think this book is maybe set in the same world, and we're following a group of people that are this society of objects that have magical powers, I believe. I don't really know a lot else about it, but I really enjoyed The Book of Doors, so I'm really excited to read that as well this month. I have a stack of other books though that I'm hoping to try and get to in the month. We'll just kind of see, I think, with that. I also have a couple of other books that are coming in from the library that I would like to try and get to. And part of the reason for these books coming in is that YALC finally announced all their authors that are coming to the convention in November. YALC is a YA literature convention. I went last year, I had a really good time. There's not as many authors I'm as excited about, unfortunately, this time around, but there are a couple that I've been wanting to read for a while, so I'm finally kind of getting the chance now to do that. A couple of ones I already own though, so those ones I will definitely get to. So that is these three. First we have Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsopoulos. This is a Greek author, I believe, and I was really intrigued by this book, but I've also just not had any real reason to pick it up. But now that the author's going to be there at Yalk, I finally have a reason to pick it up. So this, I believe, like kind of set in modern day. This is the first time I noticed that there's a bunny rabbit on here too. I never noticed this, but it is about a girl who is different artwork. This is not how she looks very different from there. This is based around a girl who I think is like descended from the Fates of Greek mythology. This was actually a Fairy Loot book from July 2023. It was a YA one, quite a while ago at this point now. Oh, ironically, July as well. So I'm finally reading this just 2 years late. This is a fantasy noir where a descendant of the Greek Fates must solve a series of impossible murders to save her sisters, her soulmate, and her city. So it does sound quite fun. I've not even looked at like what this looks like. Not the most exciting, unfortunately, but we do have a pretty cool reverse dust jacket on this. I am excited to read this. I'm finally at a point now where I'm really enjoying reading like Greek mythology retelling stuff again. So yeah, definitely something I'm excited to get to. Then we have The Society of Soulless Girls. This is a special edition by Our Youth Reads by Laura Stephen. I actually already did read a Laura Stephen book in the month of June, which was their newest book, Our Infinite Fates. And I liked it, but I didn't love it, unfortunately. I was really expecting it to be like a book I really loved, but unfortunately, just kind of missed the mark for me. It did give me a lot of Addie LaRue vibes, but I didn't really connect to it in the way I was hoping to. But I've heard really good things about this book. I think this is her most famous work, The Society of Soulless Girls. There isn't actually a premise in this, I don't think. So I'm gonna quickly go take a look at what it says about it on Goodreads, because I don't remember what this is about in the slightest. I feel like this is dark academia. It is. Oh, it's also queer. I didn't know it was sapphic, so that's nice. It's a dark and funny YA thriller with a supernatural twist. 10 years ago, 4 students lost their lives in the infamous North Tower murders at the elite Carvel College of Arts, forcing Carvel to close its doors. Now Carvel is reopening, and fearless student Lottie is determined to find out what really happened. But when her roommate Alice stumbles upon a sinister soul-splitting ritual hidden in Carvel's haunted library, the North Tower claims another victim. Can Lottie uncover the truth before the North Tower strikes again? Can Alice reverse the ritual before her monstrous alter ego consumes her? And can they stop flirting for literally 15 seconds in order to do this? So this is perfect for fans of Ace of Spades, The Secret History, and The Inheritance games. I've read 2 of those 3, and I only really liked one of them. Secret History is still on my TBR list, but it sounds really fun. I didn't realize this was dark academia. Yeah, actually, a lot more interested in this now than I kind of thought I was. I really thought this was more of a traditional YA fantasy, but yeah, actually super interested in this one. And then the final book that I have already physically is actually an art coming out in August this year. And I've been actually dying to get to this. I just haven't got around to it yet. But this is Girls of Dark Divine by Evie Woods, and from what I remember, this is like the puppeteer ballerina one, which sounds again super fun. I think it's like magical realism, and I think it's going to have like female rage and feminism. Actually read what the premise is about rather than me just saying it's the puppeteer ballerina one. So it's discover the enthralling gothic fantasy laced with dark magic, electrifying romance, and burning rage, which sounds good to me. Yeah, it comes out the 5th of August, so I will finally be reading this sooner than the actual release. It's actually tagged as a horror foremost, rather than a fantasy. This is about a group of hauntingly beautiful girls who have been bound together by a cruel curse, and one of them will go to any lengths to save them from their violent dance. The debut as well, they say it's perfect for fan Stephanie Garber. I did recently read Caraval and really enjoyed it, so those vibes are definitely good. In the legendary ballet theatre of New Cora, the girls on stage enchant the audience each night with their grace and divine beauty. Before Emberlyn becomes the show's star, it was her dream to become one of the ballerinas until she learns the price of their living nightmare. A curse has bound the girls to the show's mastermind, Malcolm, so they must obey his every command. They are controlled by the magic's invisible strings that has the power to wield their limbs like marionette dolls. Only the commands don't stop when the curtain comes down, and the girls live a life of fear from Malcolm's wickedness and the twisted truth that each dancer is destined to turn to dust when the curse finally consumes her. When the troupe is invited to perform in the glitzy city of Paralysia, Emberlyn knows this could be her best chance to save them all. She meets an elusive boy made of shadows with a magical connection to the girls, and together they work to unravel the haunting truth about their creation and fight for their survival. Sounds really good. Like, every time I remember what this book is about, I'm like, why have I not read it yet? But I will finally read it. Hopefully in July. So those are the books I already have. I have a couple more that I've ordered from the library, which should be coming in. One of them is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This was actually a nominee for Reader's Favourite Fantasy back in the Goodreads Awards like 2 years ago. And it sounds really intriguing. This one is a magical realism mystery fantasy. It is about this girl called June Farrow who is in a small mountain town, but it's about heritage as well. So basically the Farrow women are known for their thriving flower farm and the mysterious curse that has plagued the family line. The whole town remembers the madness that led to Susanna Farrow's disappearance, leaving June to be raised by her grandmother and haunted by rumours. So about a year ago, June started seeing things like faint wind chimes, a voice calling her name, and a mysterious door appearing out of nowhere. And June is determined to end the curse, even as she must sacrifice finding love and having a family of her own. So after her grandmother's death, spoilers I guess for that, she ends up looking into clues regarding her mother's disappearance, but could the door she once assumed was a hallucination be the answer she's been searching for? The next time it appears, June realises she can touch it and walk past the threshold. So yeah, this one sounds really interesting. I'm so intrigued by this one. I was in between either picking up this one or I think it's like Spells for Forgetting or something is her other book, which also sounds really good. But I'm just more intrigued by this one, I think, and I feel like there's less romance in this one, so I decided to go with that one. Also, we have Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is kind of like a really popular romantasy series that's been going for a little while now. The first book came out in 2022, I believe, and it's always been one that I've kind of heard about but never really looked into, but the other's going to be at Yelk, so I figure it's finally time for me to check it out. So this is a gothic fantasy romance. It's about a girl called Signa who has been raised by a string of guardians who are more interested in her wealth than her well-being, but each has met an untimely end. So she now lives with her remaining relatives, who all sound like really eccentric and weird, in this like gothic gloomy manor. Then the mother of the family that live in the manor, who is dead, her ghost appears claiming she was poisoned, and Signa realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger, and so she has to hunt down the killer. However, her best chance of uncovering the murder is an alliance with Death himself, a fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side. So I'm guessing we're gonna have like a romance going on with Death. I'm intrigued by it. I don't know if it's gonna be my kind of thing, but I am intrigued enough by the gothic mystery of the story, I think, to give this one a solid try. So in terms of other books, I also would like to get to Faithbreaker by Hannah Kaner, which is the third and final book in, I think it's the Fallen Gods series, started with a God Killer. I actually just finished Sunbringer the other day. Spoilers, I guess, for the next Treasure Treasure episode, and I really liked it. Still, not as good as the first book, but I'm excited to see where this is going. They're really like bite-sized, well-done fantasies, and I like that they're not like super long. Order the sequel, the finale, from the library, and we'll be excited to get to that. This is set in a world where gods are real, and we're following 4 different characters who are kind of living in this world. One who is a god killer, one who is a knight who had a curse and is trying to like help his king, and a young noble girl whose house was kind of burned down and has this like weird kind of warlocky parasitic relationship with a god of small lives who was kind of bonded to her. And it was really interesting. I'm enjoying where the story's going. I'm looking forward to the finale and actually finishing a series, which is nice. Then I'm possibly going to get to a couple of T. Kingfisher books because I'm actually going to an event where she's going to, which I'm really excited about. I've loved everything I've read so far by T. Kingfisher. This is for the paperback release of A Sorceress Comes to Call, which I haven't read yet. I know it's a Goose Girl retelling, possibly more on the horror side than the fantasy. I'm not quite sure. I think it might also be sapphic. T. Kingfisher pretty much writes fantasy, fairy tale kind of stuff, or horror, which is often like folk horror related, and I enjoy both. So I am going to try and read A Sorceress Comes to Call before that event, but I also have The Hollow Places, which I haven't got to yet. So I might also try and fit this in the month, maybe for Summerween. It's not massively long, but I am super interested in this one. This one gives me Call of Cthulhu Eldritch vibes, because basically it's about this girl that finds a mysterious bunker in the wall of her uncle's house with a hole that goes to portals and countless alternate realities, and there's monsters and stuff. So yeah, very, very interested in this one, but also the other one that I will read. And then we just have a couple of library books that I just kind of picked out because I wanted to get to them, and I may get to them this month, I may not, I don't know. But I have The Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this one because I feel like it might be too romance. But having heard Books and Lala's review of this, I think I may, because she was talking about a lot of this is actually to do with the running of the cafe. And I've discovered I really enjoy books where people enjoy their jobs and are very passionate about it. And this is about baby dragons, basically, in a cafe. Yeah, she opens a cafe for customers with pet baby dragons, and her young dragon patrons keep incinerating the furniture. And then a local heartthrob, Aidan, who is a gardener, ends up coming to the cafe because he's got his own disobedient baby dragon. So I don't know if I like the romance, but I want to at least try this out because the concept is great and like the cover is the cutest thing ever. And then finally we have probably one of my most anticipated releases for this year, is The Favourites by Lane Fargo. As soon as I heard this, I was like, say less, I want to read this book. So not only is this ice skating, which I love, this is about a pair of ice dancers who are in the Olympics, it's also a retelling of Wuthering Heights, and that sounds amazing. It's been described as like a mix of like Taylor Jenkins Reid and Wuthering Heights, obviously, so really intrigued by this. I think it's mixed media, so like we've got stuff like scripts through it and that kind of thing as well, and I think it's going to be toxic and messy, but I love figure skating, so I'm really excited for that aspect of it. So that is it, I think, for the books that I'm aiming to get to in the month of July. Whether or not I get to them is another matter. We'll just see how it goes, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to get upset with myself if I don't get to them all, because my main project is my videos, but hopefully I'll get to a few of them. So yeah, that is it. Let me know down below if there's any of those books that you're also planning to read soon. What are your July TBR plans? And until next time, stay safe, stay cozy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!